Alright guys, we're going to do Power Girls boots and gloves now. So it's going to be a little tricky because you got the feet on the base, but I'll be able to work that out no problem. So I just want to go over the paint real quick. So I have my little sky blues. This is going to be my base blue. And then I have this Game Color Air, which is a magic blue. And that's going to be kind of like the highlight to kind of brighten it up a bit. And then I'm going to have a little bit of this Model Air Black to kind of do the shading areas. Now, I really don't want to mix any whites into these colors. I might, but I might not. I'm not really sure. It depends on how it goes. I really don't like, when I do Power Girl boots and stuff, especially the way she looks, I really don't like throwing the white into the blue and making it too much of a sky blue to give highlights. I'd rather have a darker shading with some of the black and then use the base color as the brighter, you know, highlights. It's just something I like to work with. Now this is made for the airbrush. This one is not, and these are not. You have to thin these down with water, and this one's really thick and really potent, so you have to actually make sure that's thinned down as well. So what I like to do is put a little bit of water in my airbrush cup and then pour those in and then kind of mix it with a little paintbrush and thin it down, and then I'm ready to go. But they go on really nice and smooth once you, you know, thin them down a little bit. You don't need to make them watery. You just need to thin them down to the point where they come through the airbrush. It goes on nice and smooth. You get a really nice look, and they're fairly durable too, which is kind of cool. Now, onto the statue. What I did, as you see, is I took the masking down a little bit. The reason why I took all this saran wrap down is I'm going to be doing the boots. Now, if I get any overspray with blue, it's not a big deal. The reason why I had this covered over most of the time is I really didn't want to keep getting dust all over the base, and especially the bottom of the base. If I get a little bit blue around here, it's not a problem because I'm going to redo the base anyway, because it's going to be as simple as throwing some black down and then dry brushing some white to make it look like, you know, a street thing. So I'm going to bring out the base a little bit more, but it's just easier to do this now because if I kept this saran wrap here, it would be hitting the boots and sticking to it, and we don't want that. Now, I also did the body, as you can see. I did the silly putty around all the areas of the gloves, and then I masked up with saran wrap. Now, you go to your store and like a Costco's or something, you get a big roll of saran wrap. It's cheap and it's great masking tool as long as you know what you can mask and what you can't mask, pulling everything off. Now, you may ask yourself, why did I throw so much saran wrap around her? The reason is she has a lot of skin tone and a white outfit. These blue paints, if they overbleed or the silly putty is missing the spot, and and I hit it on the skin or the outfit, or I mess up and I pull it or something happens, these paints blue stain very potent, and it's very potent stains. Now, sometimes, you know, maybe a little bit of a black or maybe a brown, maybe a red or yellow, you could kind of like maybe use your thumb and you know, lick your tongue and kind of wipe it off real quick or something and kind of rub it out. You get away with it. For some odd reason, blue just loves to stain everything. It's just one of those pigments, especially with these brands I'm using. So I'm going to mix them up in the cup. I'll show you what I do, and then we'll just start painting her up. Alright, so I'm going to show you how to kind of, if you want to take the bottle right here and you want to really mix up this paint in a different bottle to make it airbrush ready, you can do that. But what I like to do is kind of, let's see if we can see, I threw some water at the bottom of here, not that much water, just enough. And then what you could do is you just kind of pour this in here. It's better to have the water in the airbrush cup first. Like, this stuff is really thick. Kind of just plops out. Should be pretty good. Let that go back into the cup. And then what I like to do is just, if you have any kind of a paintbrush, you can just go in here and mix it up. And this will give you an idea of like how it's looking. So that's pretty good. It's thinned up pretty well. And then you want to just put this in the cup. You don't want to leave your paintbrush over there and get all hardened up. So you can kind of test it out. And looking pretty good. So that's kind of what I just do for that. It's kind of easy. I got two Power Girls I'm working on, this one in a different version, so I'll be able to mix up more paints, but we're just focusing on her for now. So let's get all this blue paint on. And what I might do is, while I'm working on her, I'll probably stop, and then what I'll do is I'll put some black in there and do some shading. But what I might have to do off camera is I'm going to do some black underneath the boots areas, and I'll have to blow dry it and then put her on. But it's going to get scraped up anyway. I can't really, you know, it doesn't really matter if the bottom of the boots get scraped and stuff, as long as the main area is all good. So let's get to work. Alright, so got all that done. The Caldor sky was very dark, so I wanted to lighten it up a little bit, and I used that game color magic blue to lighten it up. But I also did some blacks in there just to kind of give it some shades. I really don't need to go too crazy with it, and I'm not doing any dry brushing or anything because I like the way these look. I did a little bit of like shading around the edge, so what I did is I did some black shade. As you saw, it was messy, but then what I did is I came in this direction and I hit the airbrush here, so it kind of blends this and this, but it leaves that little extra raised area dark in there, so it works out pretty good. And of course I'm looking at the picture on the screen and I forgot the bottom of her boots are actually gray, so that works out pretty good. I can actually I can go in the garage, I can gloss coat this up, and then I can dull coat it down, and then I can do the zippers and the little belt buckles on the boots, and then I could do the gray soles at the bottom, which would be fairly easy. I mean, it's just a matter of masking off that area, leaning her on her back, and then going that route. So I go in the garage and get this sealed up. I'll dull coat it, get that all done, and then we'll set up afterwards. Probably tomorrow or the next day we'll do the bottom of the boots. And then once everything is pretty much ready to go and done, we could get onto the base. Base will be real simple. I'll show you guys how I work that out, and then we can fine tune her up and get her done. Alright guys, we're pretty much at the home stretch. So head's done, shoulder pads all set up, outfit's all done, boots, gloves, we're all set. So as you can see with the boots, what I did is I did the grays on the bottom of the soles. Also off camera, what I did is like I did everything else. I went in the garage, I gloss coated it, let it dry, sit for a while, then I flat coated it, so now we're all good. I did a lot of touch-ups around the outfit. I made sure all the seam lines were looking good, around the breast areas, the bottom of her outfit there, around the gloves, also around the boots. So now we're pretty much there. So the next step is I'm going to do the zippers on her gloves, which the zipper comes down to like around there, and then I got to do the little gold stuff. I thought they were silver, but I looked at it and it seems like they colored those gold, so I got to do those gold. So once those are all set, the figure is pretty much done, and then I'm going to do the base. So we'll do a little quick video on how I do up the base. But the one thing at the end of this series is we're going to show you what I do with the cape. I went to the seamstress and I gave her some different type of fabrics that haven't been used before. So I think it's going to be a really cool looking cape if this fabric works out. We'll see how it all comes together. I mean, I do have the cape that came with this Power Girl, but I wanted to try something different. So I think this cape that's being made might make the cape stand out and maybe bring stuff to a whole new level. We'll see how it works out. I'm hoping it's going to, the way I envision it might be cool, but we'll see. So once that's all set up, we'll come and finish up the series. But real quick, what we'll do is we'll do a fast video of me just kind of doing the silver stuff and the gold stuff. Then we'll do the base, and then at the end, we'll show the cape. And then after that, we'll have a final video up along with the other one I've been painting. Okay guys, so I'm going to start working on the Power Girl base. Now, I masked it all off, and I think the bottom of the base is fine. I'm going to leave it like that. I like the way that looks because it's kind of like mimics the comic book, and the base is fine there, but the rocks is not. So my envision that this is kind of like a street corner or a street or a sidewalk that she came down and she did it, or even a driveway, or you know, some kind of pavement. And I thought about maybe putting some yellow lines on here like it's the middle of the street, but I would have done that probably better if maybe there was like a manhole over here or something. So I'm like, you know what, I don't want to do the yellow line, I want to keep it more like the pavement, but I want to bring more life to this. So the idea is, you can kind of see what they try to do is they try to make this look like darker brown under here, and then they try to do like almost a pavement. But my idea is I'm going to do more dirt underneath here, and then you can see little type of, it's like almost broken here and almost broken here, that there is like a layer of pavement on top of like a dirt. So what I want to do is I want to bring that out more. So the idea is I'm going to do like a lot of browns around in there, and then I'll do some dry brush into some light browns. I'm going to do some blacks up in here, and then I'll do some dry brushing of white, and then I'll tone it down with some Payne's Gray. So I really don't have a specific colors that I'm going to be using. I'm just going to be going on the shelf grabbing colors. So this is kind of like, you know, just bringing all those colors together, but I just want to bring it more to life. So it's going to look like, you know, if like a superhero came and crashed on pavement, you're not going to see rocks up here and rocks down here. You're going to see like the pavement broken up, and then you're going to see all that dirt, you know. So it's going to be like dirt and pavement blocks on top. So that's kind of the idea. If I need to explain anything, I will, but it's just straightforward, you know, just throwing colors down, dry brush, and then just keep bringing the colors out. And we're just going to try to get through it really fast. Okay guys, I just want to kind of give you a comparison of what's going on. So this is the My Manaconder base, and I just finished this up. As you can see, it's a little bit darker, it's a little bit more realistic. We got some more colors in here. We got some Payne's Gray, we got some blacks, we got some, I use transparent leather. We got, you know, dirt underneath of it. So now this is a little bit more realistic than this. Now I know I have some blue overspray here, but you can tell it's very flat, this base. I mean, this is what you get from factories. The statues and the sculpts are amazing, and you're mass producing a couple hundred, 1,000, 10, you know, 5,000, 3,000 statues. but the people in these factories aren't really like, it's not their passion. It's just a 9 to 5 job that they're working there overseas, and they're just pumping this stuff out. Whereas, you know, I sit all day long, I love this stuff, and, you know, you can really do a lot more with your stuff and have some fun. So you can see the difference. I mean, you know, they pumped out 2,500 of it. I think this is just the regular one. I forget. That might be the exclusive. I don't remember. But you can just see that there is color here, but there's really not that much. And it just seems to me like this is all just like rock, you know. Whereas this now, we look like a street. We got, you know, all types of colors in here now. We got black, we got some browns, we got some darks, you know, we got some highlights, and then we got all the dirt around the edge, you know. So now it feels more like a street or some kind of a blacktop now. And the thing is, too, which is good, when I put Amanda Conner version on this base, her gray boots are not going to blend into the base now. It's going to be a little bit darker. And the same thing over here is when I put my regular Power Girl here, this grayish blue is not going to kind of blend into her. It's going to stand, she's going to stand out more on here. So I kind of like the idea of having a darker type of base. So I'm just going to get out my Texas dull coat. I'm going to dull this down and seal it up really nice. And then I'm going to mask this one off and do the same thing. And then my bases are done. And then all that matters is finishing up the loops. And we get the cloak. And we are pretty much done with the statue. Okay guys, so Power Girl is pretty much finished up. I just got back from the seamstress house and I picked up my capes. I'm really excited and I think it's going to work out pretty cool. So, I'm not really going to work on this on camera because I'm pretty sure you guys don't want to see me fiddling with sewing, because it's just sewing a couple pieces, gluing it on, and then putting it on her and you're done. But I just want to show you the cape I got, and then once I'm pretty much done with this, we'll come back with a fresh video in the photo studio with the proper lighting, and we'll kind of show her a nice 360 of everything. But I just want to explain the capes right here. So here's the cape. Here's my little gold stretchy string, so I just got a nice piece that I'm going to sew in over here. Now, real quick, this fabric is actually cosplay Yaya fabric. I remember a few years back, I went to New York Comic Con, and there was a guy had a fabric booth, and I stopped in my tracks. I went over and I looked at all these fabrics. I'm like, this stuff is awesome. I mean, this could really open up like statues, you know. It's like, instead of just going and getting like a red fabric, you could go and get this cosplay fabric and you could really do some cool stuff with your statues. So this stuff is like pleather. It's like kind of like it looks like a red leather almost, and it's exactly what I've always wanted. Of course, I wish it was a little bit thicker, and I wish it was like leather on both sides, but I understand that you got to have, you know, the leather on one side, but then the other side's more of a fabric because you got to attach it, plus to wear it too, of course, you know. So what I asked the seamstress to do is you can put, you know, kind of cut two pieces and sew them together, so this way we have leather on both sides. At first, she's doing some small capes for me too, for some other Power Girls I'm working on. And at first she did this with the seam line, and it's not bad. I'm not saying it's horrible, but she says she could do better. So what she came up with is she came up with doing the wire and doing it and then flipping the fabric so the wire and seam line is inside of it, so we only have that. So I think that's pretty cool. It's something a little bit different. So all I have to really do now is, this is the clean seam line that's going to be on that side of her. And then what I have to do is cut a little hole here for the peg to go through. And then I got to sew this piece over here and then glue it into that little hole over there. So, like I said, I'm going to do that off camera. I'm going to get all that set up. And then we'll come back with a nice new video in the photo studio with proper lighting. And we could see her all finished up. So hopefully you guys liked the series. I had a lot of fun doing it. It's kind of one of my personal grails. You guys get to see my whole process of customizing, painting, and just kind of working out new stuff. So thanks again for watching. We'll be back with some more videos, and I'll be sure to get up this final video of her soon.